Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and it's another World of Fail. Yeah, I thought it was about time for another one of these. I think I mentioned yesterday I was going to do one, so here we are. I'm in the Centurion 7.1, Tier 7 British medium tank. I've not got it fully upgraded. I'm using the 20-pounder Type B barrel, and I've not even got the top turret or engine yet either, so I'm still working towards those. And like I say, South Coast Standard Battle and Tier 9 match, I think it is. Now, I think I forgot to mention the live stream test that I ran the other day. I can't remember if I did or I didn't mention it or not, but I'll briefly mention it now. Yes, it was a test. It was new, downloaded XSplit Broadcaster, still not used it particularly well, and it ended up being very, very laggy and no sound, so I'm not quite sure what went wrong there. But I'm either going to try and set up a Twitch account and do a bit on there every now and again, or I shall just stream straight from the PlayStation and do it that way every now and again. So hopefully next time I do it, it should be a lot better. And I've got a capture card now. Well, I've had one for a while. Just not got around to using it yet because I needed some editing software, but I've now got some editing software, and I've got a microphone coming. Blue Snowball Ice, which one of you guys recommended to me, so thank you very much. You know who you are. So that's on its way, so hopefully I shall start looking a bit more professional soon. We shall see. I'll probably cock it up because I won't know how to use it, but it's not a bad editing software actually. It seems fairly easy to use, so that's not too bad. And hopefully, in fact, I know I said I was going to pop up on the Xbox today, but I think I may try and do that tomorrow when the microphone's here, and then if anything good comes of it, I can actually use it. Because at the minute, obviously I do it on the PlayStation, I can record on here, I can edit on here, and that's what I've been doing so far. Just using the PS4 for the recording and editing. Right, I've come down this eastern side because I've got good gun depression, although I did take a hit from the IS-3 there. I was being a bit careless. Went over that rise a little too far and took a hit for it, but yeah, I've got good gun depression, and when you're using the gun depression, the upper plate and the turret become very bouncy in this. Your turret can be fairly bouncy, even when you're not, but when you are using your gun depression, it's very bouncy. And I got the side of that M103, so I'll put one into his turret. Get another one into him as he's trying to chase down our medium, I think he is. But he's got away now. And like I said, this one, you know, did seem to be going quite well this round. Now I'm going to see if I can get this IS-3, if I can get that soft spot on top of his turret. There we go, but I missed. And it's one of the best places to try and pen them. There we are. If you've got the front of them and you've not got enough pen to get through the hole or the hole down, just above the gun on the turret there's a panel that's only 20mm thick, and you can overmatch it with well, a gun that's basically 60mm or greater caliber. And I managed to get one through the front plate because he's angled, so it's lowered it out a little bit. Although that could have gone through his lower plate, but he's just managed to get back into cover, and I am not in a rush to go after him out there. No, there looks to be a bit too much. I know there's something else in between me and him, so I'm just going to back off a bit, see what comes up here. Got to keep an eye on those on my right flank as well. They've just popped up because if I pop up on radar they'll be able to see me, and I'm going for that spot, but he pops back again. And I'm just using auto aim just to tell me basically when he's popping up and I've actually got something to hit. I find it very useful for quickly acquiring a target. You know, you move your reticle near it, you press your auto aim, you lock on, and then you can zoom in to actually take the shot. But it does help a lot with sort of just acquiring that target a little bit quicker. Now, I've tracked the M103, and I'm going to go for that weaker lower plate, although the way I've tracked him, his lower plate's angled, and I think perhaps I should have been going for the side of his tank here. So that was the first mistake. The other one was forgetting about artillery. Because what do we know about artillery? They like to kill me. Yes, they do. And as we know, arty can ruin the best of matches when they really put their mind to it. And for some reason, yeah, they do seem to have a mind to kill me quite often. Anyway, it's a tier 8 match, Sand River. I'm in the tier 6 Japanese Super Heavy, the OI. And I've got the 15cm dirt howitzer fitted to KB2 it up a bit. So I'm just going to load the high explosive. And just blast away, and like the KB2, you know, you have got quite a high penetration on your premium ammunition, not premium, on your high explosive, sorry. It's not quite as good penetration as the KB2, but when you are top tier, there's a lot of stuff that you can hit and penetrate with that. I think it's something like 90 or 92, something daft, is it? I might be a little bit wrong, might be 86. Anyway, I can't remember, but it's quite high on the KB2 High-X, and it does a lot of damage. I think is it 910 average damage, something like that. So even on the stuff that you don't penetrate, especially when you're not top tier, I mean, there's a lot of the stuff that you get the sides or the rear of it, and you know, a lot of the stuff you see up here, you probably could pen with that. It's you know, not out of the realms of possibility. But even if you don't pen with HE, obviously it hits, it detonates, and it causes damage. And you know, it takes roughly about half of it off straight away for not penetrating, and then it takes off a certain amount of damage per millimetre of armour. So, you know, on some of them where your HE, you know, you might have 300 average damage and your HE is 380. Sometimes it's not really worth bothering in situations like that, but they are, you know, useful for resetting the cap in a hurry, that sort of thing. But when you're doing 910 average damage, you know, half of that is 455. You know, you can expect to be splashing for anywhere, maybe, well, yeah, anywhere sort of 455 down to maybe 300, depending on the sort of thickness of the armour. So it's still well worth doing. There's a lot of tanks at this tier that won't even do, you know, that sort of damage if they do penetrate. The obviously downside is really bad rates of fire, really long aiming time, and a really long reload. And yeah, big massive tank. Oh look, I've been spotted. Dead. These things happen, especially when you're a big fat Japanese super heavy. You just don't want to be the first one spotted. Well, you never want to be the first one spotted, to be honest. Anyway, back in the Centurion 7-1, it's Severogorsk, standard battle, and it's a tier 9 match, and pretty favourable as well, which made it all the more frustrating when you just cock it all up and do rubbish. But, like I say, you just, no point getting stressed. You make a mistake, you learn from it, you quit out, you load another tank, and just go and have some fun. Now, if I'm in a medium, or, well, no, not just a medium, if I'm in something with good gun depression and, you know, a good bouncy turret, not necessarily, you know, really thick turret armour, but just a good bouncy turret, and start up at this end, I like to come across the top towards the western side and use these small hills and just basically work over the ridge line and defend and, you know, attack anything coming out of the sort of raised gully down the western side. If I'm in something a bit more armoured, you know, IS-3s, that sort of thing, KV-4, then not always, but a lot of the time I'll go down the eastern side, either down the gully or just the other side of it on the edge of the town. And this, like I say, if you've got good gun depression, a bouncy turret is a good spot to cover this western side, because you've got this bush which, even though I'm close and want to fire through it, you know, it will lose its concealment bonus. It just gives you that slight advantage to usually spot the enemy tanks before they spot you, so you will generally get the first shot off. And if, you know, sat back like I am here, if something else wasn't spotting me, then I could have probably fired through it without it maybe losing its concealment bonus. And don't forget, you've got to be 15 metres behind it, which is a general rule of thumb. If you're looking through your gun and it's not see-through, you're far enough behind it for it to keep its concealment. And artillery again. I was just trying to get across to a better position, and artillery slammed him on in the engine deck. Right. Next fail video is tier 9 match, and I'm in my Jagdpanther tier 7 German tank destroyer. Yeah, in a tier 9 match, not much fun at all on Erlenberg Blizzard. And in a tier 9 match, in a tank like the Jagdpanther, you need to stay back. You need to either out-spot your enemy, which is going to be fairly tricky in a tier 9 match because just about everything will out-spot you, or you've got to use other guys to spot for you and just stay far enough back so that the enemy tanks are within render range but you're out of their spotting range. Blizzard makes this very difficult because, well, it reduces your radio range and it reduces your spotting range. So it does make that very tricky. But this, kind of my fail, kind of the team fail. In fact, let me zoom in on the map and just show. Right, keep an eye on the map, and there you go. You can see all of our tanks apart from me and one heavy. Basically just lemming trained up one side of the map completely. Now that's going to allow for, well, basically for the enemy team to just pincer them, completely surround them. They'll come up against them up front, and if they can spot and basically, you know, light up most of the team, the enemy team will think, well, hang on a minute, just about every single tank is there in one spot, so, you know, the guys across the other side, but this is where Erlenberg Blizzard comes into it. They might not even be in radio range to see that our entire team have got up one side of the map and that they could easily surround them. So, yeah, just one of those things. Now, I mean, it's an assault map, so you would have thought that some of our guys would have at least gone the other way, but hey ho. These, well, it is World of Tanks random battles. These things happen. I have seen far worse and far stranger. But somebody was telling me to fall back, and do you know what I mean? It's like, I think one of the guys that was telling me to fall back was actually going up that side, and you thought, well, you know, try and get somebody to come over here. You come over here, try and get somebody to follow you. Let's cover this flank, because, you know, I'm having to do it on my own in a tier 9 match, in a tier 7 tank destroyer. The heavy tank that's behind me, I don't know if he's AFK or if he's actually there, but he doesn't seem to have moved at all. So I'm just going to wait here and try and hide in this bush. If I spot anything, I'm going to pull back and try and shoot through it and basically just try and give myself the advantage, but I have a feeling that as soon as I do pull back, I'm probably going to get spotted anyway. And I'm not looking forward to whatever's going to come out of that blizzard. Here we go. Oh, so we've got a C-54. I'm already in a spot of bother, but I'm going to go for the Commander's Cupola. I've been seen. Bang, bang. Can I even get back? Oh, there's another one, but that one just hit my gun. And I'm just expecting to explode any second. Nothing. And in fact, I think I actually got that fed up and just thought, do you know what, forget it. I'm going to go up, try and at least get a bit of damage done, and, you know, where else can I go? I can't exactly back off. If I turn around and try and hightail it, it's going to come over and spot me, and that would have happened a few seconds later. But again, just quit out, play another tank, and keep calm. Keep calm and carry on tanking. Anyway, Abbey, I'm in the Jagdtiger 88. It's a standard battle and it's a tier 9 match. And I can't remember how long I'd had the Jagdtiger 88 at this point. I know I've got no equipment on it. I'm not sure which crew it was. Could have been a crew with a few skills, and we'll see if Sixth Sense goes off. If not, then it was my Ferdinand crew, but I don't think it was. I think this was just after I'd bought it, possibly. Now, it's a tier 9 match, but these are very tough, and as long as I can hide my lower plate, I should be alright. However, I am aware at this point, as I am very aware whenever there are artillery in a match, that RT are in this match, and that there's 2 of them, so I'm going to have to try and sort of play Not arty safe, because I don't think there is arty safe unless you're in a cave or a building, but arty cautious. Well, that's the plan anyway. So I've come down the eastern road by the river. There's a couple of good places just to hide the lower plate and try and get some shots at stuff coming down that road. Normally somebody goes on ahead like they have here and lights them all up coming down the road, and you can normally get quite a few shots in at them. Try and get one into the T10, and I can just as he comes down that rise. He flattened his armour out and the shots are starting to come in. Now, I am not managing my lower plate particularly well at this point. I probably could be doing it better. I am aware there's something across there that could be shooting at my lower plate. In fact, no, it just said detected, so I don't think it could have been the Ferdinand crew. And now, there's a Panther 88 coming around the corner. And I want to get out of the way before I get spotted, because if I get spotted with him coming around the corner, the stuff that's over at the other side of the road, across the river behind that T10, will be able to get flanking shots into me. And I have been taking a few hits. In fact, I'm on quite low health for this stage in the game. It's been quite poor, to be honest. Managed to take out the Panther 88 between us. And good old Artie steps in once again. Gotta love him. So here we are for the next one. I'm in the Type 59, the Chinese premium medium tank, and it's on Arctic region, and it's a tier 9 match, and it's a tier 8 tank. I think I forgot to mention that. Standard battle. Now, I like the Type 59. It's got a good bouncy turret. It works really well up close, and if you angle the upper plate, that can be quite a bouncy thing as well, and you know, you can side scrape in it, and it only sees up to tier 9. And there's nothing particularly outstanding about it, if you see what I mean. You know, like some of the premium tanks have got a fantastic gun but sort of garbage armour, or you know, fantastic mobility, or you know, fantastic armour but a crap gun, that sort of thing. And I think with the Type 59 there's nothing particularly outstanding about it, but it doesn't particularly have any weaknesses either, and it all just comes together to make a very good tank. And what I didn't realise as well is that the WZ-120, the tier 9 Chinese tech tree tank, when it's stock, is essentially the Type 59, but without the preferential matchmaking, and obviously at tier 9. And it does have slightly better stats on the gun as well. I think slightly higher penetration, slightly higher rate of fire, and possibly slightly better on the aiming and accuracy. But yeah, so might be an alternative if you're wanting to mess about in a Type 59, or you want one, but it obviously it's not on sale yet. Chinese tech tree WZ-120 is essentially the Type 59. It even says it in the little description, and I just never noticed it before. So yeah, go and check it out. So I'm assuming WZ-120 was some sort of other designation for it. But anyway, back to the match. I've come up here, got a little bit ahead, too far ahead in fact, and I've been tracked, pinned in place, fixed my ammo rack, and I actually thought I was, to be honest, angled enough, but he just carried on penning, and I really should have fixed the tracks. And because he damaged my ammo rack again, he knew exactly where to hit me, and he popped my turret. Well, I suppose it had to happen sooner or later. I've done it to enough people recently. I did it to a poor T28. What was I in? The A43, is it? Yeah, I think the A43. And he came around the corner, locked on, boom, ammo racked him from full health right at the beginning of the match. So I think that's probably some karmic retribution. Anyway, I'm in the Type 64 Chinese premium light tank, and it seemed to go a bit laggy there. In fact, I think it did go a bit laggy this match. The signal didn't really alter, if I remember, but it sort of lagged a bit, and I don't know why that was. But yeah, I've not been in this very much recently. In fact, I've not been in it very much at all since I bought it. I did buy it, I do quite like it, but I've just not been in it very much. It's fairly nippy, it's fairly manoeuvrable. It's got the M1A2 gun from the American Tier 6 Easy 8, and one of the guns obviously on the Sherman Jumbo as well. I think if I had a gripe about it, it's that the turret traverse can struggle to keep up with your tank when you're circling things sometimes, or when you're sort of dogfighting with other light tanks and you go past each other. Your turret traverse isn't brilliant on it, if I remember rightly, and it sort of can troll you a little bit and let you down. Like I say, especially when you're circling stuff. But I do seem to think, although don't quote me on this, I do seem to think it's got quite a trollish gun mantle, a bit like the Hellcat. In fact, I think it is the Hellcat turret. But yeah, things just went wrong there. In fact, that's the first time I've been in it for ages, and bad spotting position, just got in a bad position, made a bad decision. I should have just pulled back and buggered off, basically. And we're back in the Type 64 now. Pearl River encounter match and Tier 7 match. That last one was possibly Tier 8, maybe Tier 9, I'm not sure. But anyway, I wasn't in it for very long, so these things happen again. But I've been wanting to get out the T-34 too. I've been wanting to get into the WZ-120, which is why I mentioned it earlier, and I've been looking at it a bit more. Don't get me wrong, I like the T-34 too. It's a good little medium tank. It seems to be a very overlooked tank. If you like your sort of fast flanking mediums, you know, but you want to brawl a little bit, I'd definitely give it a go. The Chinese medium line has been really good fun. From probably the T-34-1 from Tier 7 upwards. Man, Tier 6 isn't too savage. It's essentially, I think, T-34-85, but with a bit of a different gun. But yeah, if you like your sort of fast mediums, I would give them a try. Not very good gun depression though, so do bear that in mind. But like I say, I'm wanting to get out of it. I'm nearly there with the XP, so I thought I'd stick my crew member in here and do a bit of training and sort of try and get it overtrained a little bit. And somebody did ask me what overtraining was, and I did. I gave an explanation of it and an example of it in my IS3 review. So if you're not too sure about what it is, if you go and have a look there. But basically what you do, quick sort of explanation, is when you're sort of getting ready to go towards the next tank and you're a few, you know, maybe 10, 20,000 experience away or something, when you finish your skill on your crew member, just don't put another skill on. Oh dear, being spotted. Again, bad spotting position, not being in lights for a while, keep picking some rough places, make a mistake. I was basically trying to get towards them to try and get around them and out of the way and sort of weave a bit, but it just failed. But anyway, yes, when your skill's done, don't put another one on, just keep running the crew in the tank. It saves up the XP. Then when you put them in the next tank, pay for them to go in at 75%, and if you've saved up enough XP, they'll go in at 100. Anyway, last match, and this is not the fail, this is the proper one. Tier 8 match. I'm in the T26E4 Freedom, which I've not been in for a long time now. And yeah, Overlord encounter battle, and this is probably about the 6th time I've been on Overlord altogether, and I never really get to see that much of it. I either die from doing something silly, or I just end up getting bogged down in one place, and that's kind of what this match is. But it's I was quite pleased with it actually. I really didn't expect it to go like it did. Now the Freedom, or the Super Pershing, the T26E4 Super Pershing. This is, like I say, the Freedom variant. It's basically a Pershing with a very underpowered engine and a crap load of armour welded onto the front, on the front of the turret, on the front of the hull. In fact, it's got 2 layers of spaced armour on the front of the hull and a layer of spaced armour around the front of the turret. Just don't give anything your side. But you get that extra protection at the cost of manoeuvrability. You've got a 90mm gun, 7.3 rounds a minute, 170 pen, 240 average damage, 2.3 second aiming time, 0.38 on the accuracy, 258mm on your premium ammunition. Now, the basic turret armour is 102 and then 76 on the sides and the rear, with a 24-degree traverse, and the hull is 32 degrees. Now, the hull itself, again, basic figures, 102 on the front, 76, 51 sides and rear. Now, like I say, 2 layers of spaced armour on the front, and it is very well angled. In fact, all 3. So you've got the angled hull, you've got a layer of angled spaced armour in front of that, top and bottom plate, and then another angled layer of spaced armour in front of that. Now, from the front, there's a machine gun port, which if you're accurate enough you can get through. which is why you'll see me rocking backwards and forwards. I've not gone crazy. I am basically managing the weak spots in this, and it's one of the easiest ones to manage. You just keep rocking. And it stops them getting a good shot on your machine gun port, and it stops them getting a good shot on your commander's hatch. Now, on the tank itself, it's the one on the right hand side of the turret. So as you're looking at it, the one on the left, behind those recoil springs on the front, those tubes. And also the cheeks of the turret just underneath the spaced arm on the turret are quite weak as well. You can get through there, but again, you've got to have a good shot at them, got to have an accurate gun, and they've got to sit still really if you hit them, which is why I try not to in this. Now this is basically where I spend most of the match, and I think, was it a tiger behind me or has that guy died? But we basically hold this position. I had the Tiger 2 at me, and I took off most of his health. I went and had a go at the Mutant 6 there, shot him through the top of his turret, which is quite a soft target. Then I got got a bit of a hit in the side, I think it was, or a bit of a warning shot from that T-34, and now I'm just working on him a bit. Now the T-34 has something like 249 mil of penetration, and he's not getting through this armour. Now bear in mind, if I was on a flat, he possibly might punch through, but spaced armour has a good chance of just eating up your shot altogether. You could penetrate and do no damage whatsoever, and don't even attempt to fire HE or heat at spaced armour, because it will just swallow it up completely. Well, that T-34 backed off. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Bear in mind, like I say, I'm on the back slope of this rise, so that is angling my upper plate slightly as well. That's where I take a hit in the side from that Mutant 6, take another hit, and basically needed to get out of there. I think I'd fixed my gun, but I've got a good repair skill. I think it's about the only skill on this actually. I'm training up another crew. I can't even remember what for now. But I'm not doing too bad, to be honest. But it needs repairs, and I think it was just about full, so it was lucky, because that could have been the enemy right there. Now I managed to finish off the Tiger 2. And I can just finish off that hammer, yep. And being up here, I can just sort of poke over and get shots down into them without really exposing myself. That sounded so wrong, didn't it? Without exposing my tank is what I meant, so stop giggling, people, please. But yeah, like I say, in the Super Pershing, one of the the easiest ways to manage your weak spots is just keep rocking forwards and backwards slightly. It's not going to help every time. You've got to try and not make it too sort of not too rhythmic. God, I can't stop sounding wrong. You've got to basically not make it too regular. There's the word, and it's not dirty. Yeah, don't make it too regular, because they'll just wait and time it. We'll just keep moving back and forward a bit. Stop them getting a shot at your commander's cupola or the machine gun port or the cheeks, and it makes a very good support tank, because at medium range they just can't hit your weak spots most of the time. And I've just rambled on about his weak spots and armour and everything else for most of that match. But yeah, I basically held that position for the whole match, and that was about as much of it as I saw, but I came out of that with a nice tidy profit, 140,000 silver, 3,695 damage done, and 3,600 dead on blocked. Still not enough for a mastery though, which was a bit disappointing. Got a little bit of silver from some of these. In fact, 10,000 from that first one. Oh, and 500 XP from that op as well. But like I say, sniper medal, first class mastery, and top of the board with 4 kills. So that was a lovely match, and that was one of the last ones I played today. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you've maybe had a laugh at some of those, and maybe seen what not to do in some of those situations. I don't know. Anyway, I hope it's just been entertaining, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. So as always, take care out there, and I will catch you next time. See you later.